Hey friends, it's me, Cynthia, and Azalea and Marty. He's not feeling it. He doesn't want to. He
He's in a
doesn't want
bad
to.
mood right now.
Azalea interrupted his resting moment when he was resting. Oh, hello, Jennifer. She says, "Happy Sunday Fun Day." Yes. Today we're going to paint some pewter pieces. We have some patinas, and I said to Azalea, I said, "We haven't done that in a long time, have we?" I had found some in my pile of finished pieces, and I feel like I want to do some new ones, you know? How cute. Hello, Allison. Hello, Jeanette. Thank you all for joining us today. It rained really hard earlier, and I thought for sure that it was going to be, we were like, oh my gosh, I hope the gutters I hope the gutter doesn't collapse, because it's like one of them. It's right outside here. It's up high and it's steep, and I'm not about to climb on the roof to try and fix it. It's too steep of an incline, so I'm not clambering out there. Hello, friends. Hello, Clem. Yes, I see our friends coming in. Kalite, hello. Nilda, Pat, hello. So good to see y'all. I'll tell you, I don't know what everybody else got up to, but we've been, well, Azalea, she's always filling orders and answering and doing and keeping track of things. That's her. That's what she's been doing. If you're waiting on the glow kit, just so you know, there's a lot of beads in that. So I've been counting all the beads. There's a lot. And there's a bunch of different types. So I don't know if you've ever made kits before, but when you're making a kit, you have to have partitioned off little areas, either in a cubby situation or like bags or tins, and then you fill each one. And it's sort of like a factory line situation. And it has been taking me, when you have a lot of them going on, I've been trying to plot and plan to have for new. I feel like I've been, like, beads are on the brain. They're everywhere. They're on every single table in the house. Oh, hello. Terry says, Cinco to you. Oh, today is the 5th, isn't it? I mean, I guess yesterday was the 4th, and I saw the Star Wars thing. And that was and then I remembered it. Pretty nice. I hope everyone has been having a crafty and creative week. We're getting ready to show you some fun things. You might have already seen these paints, I guess. They're not really, they're patinas, but they're not patinas in the sense that usually when you think of a patina, it's like a chemical compound that's changing the actual surface of the metal. Like liver of sulfur or black max. What else changes it? I don't know. I have to think about it. But there are books and books and books on patinas. So depending on the metal, you know. And I used to have samples for different metals, and we would experiment. And one of the things, if you're out of liver of sulfur, you could put eggs or kind of, you know, a hard-boiled egg, put it in a bowl, and put your silver in there, and that's like a lo-fi way to get a liver of sulfur look. Unfortunately, that one does. It smells just like it sounds, kind of sulfurous to do the egg technique. But it will give you, if you're not in a hurry, in like 3 days, you'll get a neat rainbow patina. Hello, Lynn, Cherie, oh, Ann Gardan. We love Ann. June, hello, June. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you. I'm gonna get ready to flip this camera around. Hey, daughter, can you get me, I forgot to pour it, some water for these paints? And so I like to use, when I'm making a patina, I used to use a product called, I think it was called Modern Elements or Mystic Patinas or something. And they were real patinas, meaning that if you had bronze or whatever metal, it would actually corrode the metal to get those greens and blues and all that. So, oh, thank you. So this type of material that we're going to be playing with today, these are These are the patinas that are from Vintage. You guys know that brand. I designed for them a line of colors. I don't know if we have any more of those sets left. Do we have any more of those, Azalea? Or we sold long time ago, sold out?
It's been a long time since I've looked at them. We might have maybe one or two.
We might have one or two sets. And so a long time ago, I told Wendy, I said, Wendy, you need a core set so that you can make any color if you have these 5. And so she was like, oh, but you could, there's so many colors. There are so many colors, but if you have ever painted, you know that you're going to need, if you want to make any color that exists, if you have 3 true, the 3 primaries, blue, yellow, red, and primaries means that you can't break it down into any smaller parts. Like orange is red and yellow, green is blue and yellow.
What was that cat doing?
I don't know, but I was distracted by him sniffing around. I was like, what's he doing sniffing over there? So if you have those, you can mix anything. If you have black and white, then you can make pink. If you could, I mean, the sky's the limit. But if you don't have good saturated your primaries, then you're not gonna, it's just gonna be, it's gonna be weak and sad. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be weak and sad. And no artist wants to use paints that are kind of too much filler. When there's too much. You've seen those cheapo crayons. This is what I'm talking about. When you color with it and then it's supposed to be a nice strong orange and it's kind of waxy. That's cheap art supplies. And why they're cheap is because the most expensive part is the pigment. The pigment is where it's at. And if it's low pigment, that means it's a lot of acrylic filler. And you don't need that because you can just make that yourself if you want a lot of filler. So the thing about these paints is that I don't know of any other type of paint that has the binding. Otherwise, you just make your own, right? You just make your own with powder pigments and just have that. You would just have the medium. Wouldn't that be something? I would mix my own patinas all day long. And in fact, I have by adding pigment powders. That's one way you could do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the basics, and then you can go in and, the sky's the limit. It's just like with any paint. If you have a powder, you could add a little bit of that powder in there and completely change your color. And if you have enough of the right medium, then it'll basically function. And when I just said that, and I just said, if you could only buy the medium, and then I had a realization. I can buy the medium. Dorcas, look at this. I just realized.
Dorcas.
You can get it. It's called, what is this called? It's the, what is it? Glaze. Well, that's not exactly. Patina extender. So yeah, actually you can make your own if you had the pigments. So now that I don't know why I didn't think of that before, or maybe I did think of it and have just not remembered. Wood mica powder, any powder. Well, I say any powder. I would not try spices because there's a little bit of that oil. I've said this before. I'm like, any powder will work. You know what? You can't say that because it turns out not any powder will work. And ask me how I know. We did try like turmeric one time. And even though it's a natural thing, there's a little bit of oil in there. And that oil causes that stuff to separate. So let's just say inert powders will work. So a powder that's not, I don't want to say not organic because there's a lot of organic powders. I mean, most of the pigment powders that you're going to find that you could go out and make are organic. I mean, lamp black, black pigment is coal. So, and then I think there's some more. Ash, charcoal is actually, it's charcoal. All right, I'm going to flip this thing around. Bear with me a second. Oh, Laura said she bought some of those patina sets off the website. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, I love them. So the one that, Kalite says she likes using magenta. Well, you know what you're thinking of, Kalite, I think, of the print. When you're printing, you can make any color from cyan, which isn't that like a magenta? Whereas the cyan, You know, is cyan the magenta or is that the blue?
That's the blue.
The blue. So, or what do they call that? No. I can't remember. But anyway, the magenta would give you a nice clean mix too as well, I feel like. All right. Yeah, thank you, Lynn. It is the blue. I can never remember. It doesn't even look, what color is that? When I think of that, I think of the plant that starts with that. I think it's cyclamen, and those are very dark magenta. All right, let's flip this. Okay. We've been doing research on different cameras that will do zoom. That's Azalea.
Hello.
Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. That kind of gives me a weird shadow. Okay, so I have a little piece of... Oh, right. Yeah, Kalite. Sometimes with... Yeah, exactly. The polymer clay, that's because I think there's a lot of space in there. And by space, I mean filler. Especially with polymer clay, because you have the clay part of it. I had this because I thought maybe we'd want to paint on it, but that kind of makes me feel sad looking at that. So I'm going to get my box of miscellaneous. Thought y'all might like to dig around in this with me. Oh, and here we are. Look, here's one I did a couple months ago. This was when we had this new piece, this newer. It's within the last few months, but this was painted. I did a couple variations on that. This is also painted. This is when we did the class with Jamie Yoshida. And here's more of that. I never did string these up. I was going to do this. This was the whole idea for that. I was going to make a necklace, so I didn't get around to it. It's on my things to do list. Oh, and you guys might remember this corn, rainbow corn, jewel corn. That was painted and then resin applied to the outer thing. I was just testing it to see what would happen. I did it on one side and not the other. This side was not coated in resin, so you could see how it would wear. And it looks like it wore, I mean, it's been rattling around in this box. It looks pretty good. I wondered if this side would get chewed up. It looks pretty good. So, let's see. Do you have any pieces over there that you want to see painted? Look, this one, I kind of scraped the paint off of it just to see what it would look like. Oh, I'll put these over on one side. I have to jack this box up. Oh, and this one I did with a base layer. I did not get to this, but I did a base of the white or marble. This is so that your colors are more saturated. If you start with a white, your colors are going to be, this is just painting 101 or any kind of color theory. If you paint on top of black, you're going to get, let's see. Well, I could always just show you, so you don't have to take my word for it. You can just look and see for yourself. See for yourself. We've been quoting Napoleon Dynamite since that movie came out. And just the other day, I learned that the director that did Napoleon Dynamite actually had another movie called, what was that called? Bronco Gentleman?
I never saw it. I don't know.
Guess what? It's in my shopping cart. I'm going to get it. Let him in.
He is in.
Oh, this one is just this is a color wash. This is a good way, too, if you want to add a little bit of color, like a patina. This won't come out, like, ever, because it's in the recessed areas. Pat, these paints are they're pretty much permanent as far as I can see. As far as I know. They will, it's just like, I'm going to get the ones that I already did. I'm going to lay these out just so we can look at them. You know what? He's doing that thing. What do you call it when you ding dong ditch somebody?
Yeah, but he's in the room already though.
The other day, Marty was doing that to me, and I thought I was going to go crazy. I'd get up, because he'd be meowing at the door, and I'd be like, okay, hold on a minute. To blow out my lamp, and get everything ready, and, you know, like, get up from my blanket and everything, and then I'd amble over to the door, and then he ran off. And I was like, okay. Get situated, you know, put my optivisors back on. A few minutes later.
There you are, you stinky thing. He's hiding in my orders.
Okay, so this is, here's some real patina. Okay, so this is an old bronze horse. This is called Frankie Pony from way back when I first started. This one has, when I say a real patina, it's actually etching the metal. So I put a little bit of wax to stop it because the oxidation or being left out, it's like a statue. You know, if you see a statue that keeps getting rained on, it's going to change color because of the atmosphere. The copper will react to the different moisture levels in the surrounding. Like if there's salt in the air, like in a seaside town, you're going to get a little bit different color than somewhere else that the statue might turn black. It just depends on what's in the air. So anyway, this one has, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very subtle. There's a little bit of green in the creases where it hasn't been kind of worn off from being in the box. But to stop it, I sprayed it. And you kind of have to do that if you're using something like, what is that patina for that? I want to say it's ammonia. It's ammonia to get the green. There's a lot of different recipes to get different colors. Like there's lemon juice and vinegar, and if you mix it with salt, you get a different color. There's all different recipes. So I don't remember what exactly I used on that, but this is what's called an actual patina. All right, let's start painting. Let's stop looking at all this stuff in here. Okay. I'm going to jack this up a little bit. Excuse me. I guess I am going to be using this part. It's a little bit sad, this cardboard. Do I still make that horse? You know, I don't know if I have the mold for it. Sometimes you make something and it doesn't, you know, the things with their legs, if their legs kind of have a locked in position, then it's really hard to, what am I trying to say? Sometimes it'll tear the mold. Let me just explain that a little further. Get it out. Places like this, see that kind of hole right there where this locks into the mold and it has to be cut. And it's the same here. Any place that there's this negative space means you're going to have an area that's going to be locked into the mold. So you have to cut the mold very gently. And if you don't cut it right, the piece will tear out. And if it tears out, all the information that was inside of the mold on that spot will be lost. So then your mold, you have to remake it because you can't just go back and fix every single one. Because that would never, I mean, that would just not be very cost effective for sure. Let me put this here to demonstrate some of this. Some of the potential. This is the potential. These are just sitting in that box. I think they look good that way. My favorites are the one where they're mixed color. And this was an experiment to see how it would look if I tried to brush off most of the color. And then that's what happens. Oh, so I'm going to paint. You know what? These are ready for me. Sometimes I'll do this where I will prep some ahead of time. And it's convenient to do that because then you don't have to wait. It's already done. Then you can just get to the fun part. Now, obviously, you don't have to do this. This is just if you want a more flat coloration. A lot of times I'll just go in with a wash of color like this. And I'll show you how to do it. This is the easiest thing you can do. And I'll do that first. Maybe this one would be a good one for the wash. Actually, this one. And I think for that one I will choose... They changed the colors and started making these. Then the packaging, it's slightly different. It's called Ultimate Paints. Same. It's the same. Oh, you never painted them, Jermaine. She said she never painted them. You need to get those out. You know what would be fun is if we did another class. Wouldn't that be fun, another Zoom? Kalite is asking how those salamanders are doing. Well, I'm glad you asked, Kalite, because literally no one ever asked me that. And the other day, I spotted 5 of this type of salamander that we have here called a red eft newt. It's a little newt. 5 of them. It's like one after the other. I was so happy and delighted. I'm just grabbing a brush. There are so many to choose from. Sometimes it is easy to... I wanted to check because I didn't want to go in there with any kind of sable. And that's a fancy brush. I have fancy watercolor brushes. And I'm going to put this down here. That's not necessary. Okay, so I just wet my brush a little bit, just to get a point. I would like to see what you made, Kim. She painted hers, and she didn't make them into jewelry. I didn't either. I painted them. I like painting them. I can paint them all day long. They are very fun to paint. And what did I do with my optivisors? You see them? What did I do with my... Oh, here they are. I tell you, I have these optivisors with me, and I told Zoe, I said, I need to design some kind of hat so that they can always be with me and I never have to be parted from them. Even better is if I could somehow make my eyes become optivisors. You know, if you're like, I'm going to aim this light a little bit better so you can kind of see that. Okay. Daughter, is that in focus?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, now, one of the things with this type of paint is you got to work kind of fast. So I'm going to paint this little dragon, and I just did a quick wash, like a fast little swipe of this patina paint. And I'm going to rinse my brush off because this dries so fast. Oh yeah, these optivisors are not stylish, Wendy, not at all. Okay, now that's one layer. I don't know if you can see that very well. And I could leave it like that and then put it in the... I have this little convection oven that I use. And it's good for baking polymer clay. I have a bunch of this green out, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do... This is one of my little tricks. If you have a little puddle, as not to waste, I'll do a couple of layers. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to end up with this being who knows what color. I found a snail shell at a shell show that was a beautiful green color. I know I didn't know that there were shell shows, but I also didn't know that there were bead shows, so what do you know? So just with the extra, I'm going to give that a little bit. It's just not to waste it. And give it that quick. And if I don't like it, you could always wipe some of it off. What kind of sound is that? Do you hear that? It's like...
Somebody's...
It's like a dog. Is it a dog? It sounded like a peacock or something.
Some dogs are different like that.
Oh, good. Teresa, she painted the bunny and the moon as well. And the colors are not budging, even with acetone. That's good. That's good. I like that story. Look at this pretty blue. I like that color. And these are the pre-mixed. You can get these colors if you have. These are the colors you need to make any other color. You need red, blue, and yellow. Now, if you have those plus black and white, the sky's the limit, in theory, if they're good colors. These, we worked with them and tried to make something that you could blend any color. Because you can't do that with some things. If you don't have a true red, there are some colors you're not going to be able to make. That's just how it is. I mean, you can't, I mean, for a long time they had, this was their color. That was the red. And that's not, it's not really red, it's pink. You could never get a true, like, burnt sienna or anything. I mean, not that you would with those colors anyway, but closer with a red, a blue, and a touch of black in there. So I'm going to get some of this black and I'm going to put some of these shadows in here. Now, this paint does not like to be watered down. If you water it down, it won't stick to the metal. So you'll know when you've put too much water with it. And if you want to make it where the colors are more watercolory, you use more of the extender. Now, I am not using any extender. I'm just using the paint itself and the dampness of my brush. My brush isn't wet. It's slightly damp, as in I'm wiping it off as soon as I take it out of the jar. So I just gave that a little bit of a shadow. Okay, so if that happens, your Captain Butterfingers, like me, you can do this move. If that happens, you take a sculpting tool or whatever you have that could work. And there you go. Oh, Sheree did not bake it. Oh, nice. You didn't have to bake it. Good. Some of them I don't bake either. Can't tell if that's in focus or not. All right. Now, actually, I'm going to get some of those powders while we're talking about it. Hey, hon, can you get me some, like, one glitter powder? One of those, you know, powders. I don't know if they're going to be in the resin stuff or if there's going to be any over there. I don't know.
They're all elsewhere.
Did I bring those downstairs? So I have been doing this thing where I organize all my stuff and I organize it so hard that I can't find it anymore. So I don't know what I did with those. I guess the powders are with the resin. I was going to say, maybe I have some hanging around. I don't see any. Just from an off look. But if you were to use pigment powders, the way you do that is you would dip your brush, and you know, now that I said that, I kind of want to do it, of course. This one's a matte glaze. So what you would do is pour out any kind of clear, shiny, matte. Shiny is best for that. This one's matte, so this would not be ideal for a powder. But if you wanted to use any of those mica powders, you could actually, while this is in this state, it's kind of still a little bit, it's probably dry by now, but as soon as it has a tacky layer, you could go in with a brush, hit it with a little bit of the powder, and then add some of the clear. Now, if you go a matte finish, it'll kind of subdue any of the sparkles. So keep that in mind. I'm looking for one now that is... Hey, babe, can you close the window? That dog's, whatever it's doing with its mouth is kind of making me feel like I'm going crazy. It's like, is that a peacock?
This window is also open.
Oh, turn that, and then maybe we'll just... will get rid of that sound. It's making me feel like I had a headache all day. And that's for sure not helping. This one, does this one have, I don't know if this one has sparkles in it. Yeah, you know what I think the neighbors, they lock that dog out because it makes that noise. So then we can all enjoy it. Now that's a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to put this, I did not shake it a ton. This is some of the pearl. We'll see how this looks. I like the pearlescence. I feel like the dragon would look nice with a little bit of pearl. Okay, I'm going to give it just a hint. Now my brush was too wet, so I dried it off. Remember, if it's too wet, it will just slide right off the metal. And you can test it. If it beads up on the metal, that means it's not going to make a very good coating. And you want it to be a nice durable coating. You don't have to make it thick. It doesn't have to be thick. But it's kind of similar to nail polish. You don't want it to be where you go in ultra thick. Just, let's see if I put a little bit of this dark in the cracks, what would happen. Okay. I don't, because I just painted it. But that looks a little bit better, I think. Adding to the details. Okay, and then I'm going to use this, I wiped the brush off, and while it's still a little bit tacky, I'm just wiping away the extra. There you go. Now you can kind of see them a little bit better. Pretty nice. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a second. And rinse, you rinse your brush. I'm going to move this over so we can see that brush rinsing action. You always want to rinse because otherwise this will become useless. I never use fancy expensive brushes. This is Simply Simmons. It's one of those that are in the cheap packs of brushes. Okay, so while that one is sitting, let's talk about this one. I did a coat of that marble. That's this one, I think. Sandstone. It's not marble. One of them, I thought it was called marble. Oh, here's one that's called marble. So sandstone's a little bit warmer. But these both function the same to me. They're a good base. If you want your colors to be very, very saturated, and that means, you know, not translucent, but more opaque, then hit it with this. I feel like it works well to do that. If you want the metal to kind of shine through, as we have done here. So the green layer of pigment is being bounced through the pewter. The shiny pewter is visible through that. So it's a sheer layer. And so here's a sparkly on the back of it. It's kind of a subtle sparkle, but obviously you could make it as sparkly as you want. But this is without a background. This is what I'm talking about, background. This is also background painted. You could also, if you didn't want to paint them by hand, you could spray paint them with like a gesso type. It's a sprayable or a primer. You could use they have a different color primer. So what kind of color do we want to use? You know, today I spotted this little dead bird on the side of the trail, and it had like a dark teal head, and the rest of it was yellow. I should have taken a picture. It was really pretty. The other day when I was walking, I sent Azalea a picture of a bird that I found. And I said, Azalea, look what I found. What should I do? And she wrote back, TF. What did you say, TF? You think?
I said, probably just leave it. What else are you going to do with it or some such business?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to put it in a bag and bring it to you. She said, nah. So maybe I'll make that bird that I saw today. This is like Could be a Carolina Wren, but you know what? I was looking at the William Morris, the Strawberry Thief. Y'all have seen that before. And it has, I mean, it's a textile. And this is kind of beaming in on its face. I'm going to paint its little eye. I don't usually paint the eye first, but for some reason I feel like doing the eye first. Oh, hola, Donna. I was just thinking about you. I was looking at glass beads the other night, and I was like, these look pretty complicated. I wonder if I could make those. I used to make glass beads way back when. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know if that looks good. It for sure only looks okay with that, but we'll let that dry for a second. Go to this one. So if you're making these, I would advise to have 3 or 4 at least out, because it can be hard to have space, or to, you know, not have space. It to, you know, sit here and wait for this one to dry. Even though it doesn't take very long to dry, you still don't want to be standing around with your teeth in your mouth. You just want to move on, you know? Or at least I do. So I'm going to do another layer. I made this pangolin bead a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, but this needs, for sure, it needs a bigger something to hold it in place. Okay, so I'm going to use my file. So chopsticks work. Chopsticks are easy and cheap. Okay, so this pangolin tequila. Pat, what are you talking about, tequila? Are you thinking about, did you hear me thinking about my shirt that has, it's a tequila company that I won during trivia night with me winning the winning question? Because that happened. It's this shirt I'm wearing today, right now. You guys probably don't know this, but I love me some trivia. Alright, so this is, what is this? Clay. They call this one clay. I don't know if I'm going to want this to be clay, but we'll see. You only need a couple drops. You see, that's not, it doesn't take a lot. Oh, I see. Duh, Pat. Oh, look. This looks so pretty, that color. Better than I expected. I'm going to get up in there closer so y'all can see that a little bit better. It's kind of a nice sheer layer. I don't like to go too thick. It's just like with nail polish. If you go too thick, it looks too thick. And you know what I mean by the nail polish. If it's too thick, there's no... I mean, you can get a brush, but once it's on there, this is hard to remove. So you could dunk it into some water right away if you were like, ugh, what did I do? You could quickly do that. But once it dries, it's really hard to remove. Even with, as, was it Pat who said it, that it's even with, it's hard to remove. Pangolin have such a sweet little ear. It's perfectly shaped like a little seashell. It's adorable. They're kind of a little anteater. So that gave it kind of a bronze look. You could actually get different metals, or to look like a different metal, fairly easy. Because some of the metallic colors are very good. Okay, so after I rinse it, I always wipe it off. Always. Always. Too much water and it will not stick to the bead. It will just bead up. So I'm going to let that sit a minute. While that's sitting, let's get on with this one. Let's see what happens. What do you think? I blew? Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be pretty. I love an eastern bluebird. What's this color? Blue fluorite. Excuse me. It's like I'm going through puberty or something. That voice break. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of this clear that's down here. Let's see what happens to get kind of a wash. Let's just look. This is some of that extender. That's to give it kind of a watercolory wash. I think it looks pretty that way. And what happens when it's on the white, it goes into the recessed areas and you can really see it. Of course, it'll do that if you have the naked metal, naked pewter color. It will do that too, but you can see it a little bit. It'll give it a more of a watercolor effect on a prepared surface. Just like if you were to gesso a board, you know, I mean, your colors would pop. Yeah, that little bird, bless its heart. Yeah, that looks good. I don't know what color I want to make the background, but I've left it so that I should do a background color, you know, because now it's all kind of white. And this says, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul." It's from an Emily Dickinson poem. You know, my brother kind of ruined Emily Dickinson for me. He was like, you can just about hum a Yellow Rose of Texas to her poems. And so now whenever I see her poems, that song, and then I'm like, you know what, you kind of can. It's kind of messed it up for me a little bit. So there's a little bit of berry right here. Maybe I'll make that berry kind of a pinkish color. Oh no, I want a little bit of a more saturated. These colors that are like this, I don't like those. I think of those as being kind of tepid. They're not as saturated. I'll do this red, and we'll mix some of this pink to it. The pink will kind of give it a little bit of, soften it. Of course, when I said that, it's the ones that I've been picking have to be bored out. But you know what? I'm going to go with some of this. There, I forgot there was a little bit of clear over there for a minute. There won't be clear for long because it doesn't take long to dry. This, I feel like this is already a little bit dry. So I'm going to just get those that little berry. There. That looks cute. What do you think the background should be, daughter?
The background?
The background of this pendant.
I don't know. Are you using cyan right now?
No, I'm painting the leaves green of this. I think that looks pretty good. I could go dark. That could be interesting. Let's see what happens if I go dark. I don't know. I kind of like it light though. Let's see. That's a thing. Is if you go too much, then you know, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about that. We'll move on to this one. Let's see how this looks dried up. I wonder if this needs. I could go in. I kind of like it like that. That's the clay. And it gave it a look like bronze, kind of. Looks like a little bit like bronze. A lavender wash, Pat says. That might be pretty. Yeah, that could work. Let's try it. All right, what do I have that can make lavender? All right, I'll need some white. So, since the background is already white, I won't need more white. What I'll need is some blue. Oh, I have a little bit of that blue over there, but we'll go with this one because this is is closer to a purple. I'm going to get some of this white anyway. And these, you know what's good about them is they last a really long time, these colors. Unless you're painting, unless you're like going into production, these will last you a long time. I mean, I've had the same set and I just keep building on it for forever. All right, let's see if I can get a good blend here. Okay, so a little bit of white, a little bit of blue. I'm gonna have some leftover of this little red. And where's some more of that clear? Let's get some of that clear. It's pretty nice. And I'm gonna get some more of that glaze. I agree. I like the newer ones. I don't like the caps of the older ones. The older ones, I mean they're still good, but I feel like they're not as pigmented. We'll do this wash and see what happens. Oh. Oops, almost dropped it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Kind of dreamy. Let's do the back. We'll do a kind of a watercolory effect on that. Now, one thing I like to do is this. I like to go in there and kind of push the color into the text. We'll just grab all of it and go in like this. And I'm pushing it in. And then can kind of wipe it so the color stays in the cracks. And then one thing you can do, this is kind of fun too. I'm going to get this first. I'm going to use a little bit of that clay to do the beak. Kind of tie it so it's not so scary looking. There. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, and then one of the things you can do when it has dried, there are these polishing blocks that you can get from Sally's or Vintage makes them, but I get them at Sally's Beauty Supply. It's for buffing. Now this is already pretty dry. That's how fast it dries. But you could do this. Oh, thank you, Sonia. She says she's beating along as I watch you paint. Your tutorials have been really helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so that's what happens. You can remove it a little bit, and it still gives it that watercolory wash feel. So some of it stays, some of it goes, and it gives it that kind of look like those antique tin soldiers, if you've ever seen those. And I'm going to do the other side. You don't have to do this, but if you want to highlight it and give it that kind of antiqued quality, I'm going to just lightly get all the raised surfaces. And that's removing just a hair. Just a hair. And see what it does? It highlights it. So it's kind of like, kind of reminds me of scratchboard a little bit. So what that's doing is you're knocking off the pigment. There you go. So I think that looks really pretty, actually. And so then the other thing is this, if you have this on a piece of jewelry or whatever, if it does get dinged or knocked, it's just part of the design. So it's not, and it's the same with this. As soon as I was done painting it, I took one of, like the sides are different. They're all a little, there's a different grit. Or I think these two feel a little bit different. One's a little more aggressive. And with the more aggressive, it takes off more paint. So it'll make it shinier. So that's, and then if it's, you could get it shinier by compressing the molecules of the metal down to get more shiny. Or you could even do this number. So take a wooden, or I mean a metal, and do this. You're really compressing it. You see that? That's kind of like, that's polishing the actual pewter itself. That has nothing to do with the patina. I'm using the edge and I'm really compressing it. See that? Gave it a little bit of a highlight. Do the same thing on her face. You can see where this is the most raised, so that's like the highest, that's the highest point. But I'm going to go around the eyes a little bit so it makes those kind of stand out a little more. You see how what that did just there? Pewter's soft enough where you could actually do that. Then make the eyes really pop. Do I have the face bead on the website? I don't know, do I?
The new flat one?
Yeah, this one.
Yes, it's on there.
Oh, what's the name of it, daughter? Maybe you can drop
Flower
a link.
face.
Is it called Flower Face?
Should
You know
be.
what? I made this to, and it has little tears. Did you notice the little tears? Isn't it so? Let's make it pop a little more. I'm scraping that a little bit more. Make those tears look more shiny. The tears are actually supposed to be rain, see, because it's a tree. And then this side is the flower of that tree. It's kind of like, kind of reminds me, I can't think of the name of the flower, but it'll come to me later, probably when I'm half asleep. I'll remember the name of it. It's always the way it goes. So that's with a little bit of highlighting with a metal tool. All right. Let's see. Oh, I didn't notice the time. It's almost, we've been sitting here having enjoyment painting this for almost an hour. I'm going to wrap this up and finish this little snail since I already started it, but then we'll get on to the things that we've been making. Okay, so let's grab any more if there's any leftover. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll be like, oh, what's left here? Oh, there's a little bit of this blue. Okay, we'll see how that looks on here. And we'll paint the middle of, I meant to get in here. There we go. Just a hint of color. And that'll stay. So if you have just a little bit, you just dust that in there, just like so. Remember, it doesn't have to be thick. You don't have to go in with super thick layers. In fact, you want them to be kind of sheer. That's where you want to be. And I mixed a little bit of that clay in there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's so far. I could leave that for a minute and maybe come back to it later. And the fun part is that this is not going to get damaged. You know, it's just going to be in my, if I want to finish it up later, I could just grab all these, put them back in the box. They're not going to get messed up or anything. And I can, and this lid, just keep reusing it. Sometimes these things can pop off. You can hear that. And I'll just pop them into the trash. I've had this same lid for ages. Sometimes I'll switch to this side, and it doesn't want to stick to this side as well. But sometimes these little things, I'll just do like this, and then I just pop off. Except for where, of course, that I just added, the paint hadn't dried. But anyway, I'm going to make some space. Time flies when you're crafting. Yes, that is true. Oh, thank you, Jermaine. She says, the bird turned out so beautiful. Thank you. I think that did come out good. I didn't get to this one, but I think I want to give this kind of a southwestern or a look like, maybe it'll have a look like Thai or Tibetan, you know. It's hard to say. So we did this one today, this little green dragon. It has a very subtle, sparkly layer on the shell, on the outer shell. That could, you know, that could have another, that would be a good point for a pigment powder dusting and then another clear layer. You could even go with a clear resin and make this really wonderful and sort of rainbow effect. Or, you know what I've done? I've used my nail polish. This is a fancy, expensive nail polish from, it used to be called ILMNP, I Love Nail Polish. Now they're called Mooncat, or yeah, I think it's Mooncat. But it's super pigmented if you don't have, if you have the nail polish. I mean, a lot of that stuff is designed to kind of come off. But if you put another layer, protective layer on it, it could be, it'll never go anywhere. So you could use UV resin on it. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I mean, that's from, I just did one coat, and it stays on there for forever. I'm going to throw these guys back in the box until the next time, till it's time to make new ones. Maybe I like how this came out. I think that looks like bronze. I was happy with that. So, all right, you ready, little daughter?
Just about. I might have to go down and get my charger real fast.
Okay, I'm going to make some space. Hopefully, I remember to put all the caps back on properly. All right. I'm just putting caps on and fitting them into my kit. The Ultimate paints are my favorite. So if you're deciding between the paints, I don't know that you can even buy the other kind anymore. So it'll make that job, if you're deciding, easier. But I do like the big bottles of patina.
You can start anywhere in here.
And I keep everything in a plastic container to keep them fresh, so they don't get dried up. You don't want them to be dry. Okay. I worked a little bit on some wax work this week. As per usual, I always work on wax. But we made a couple more trolls. What else did we make? We made some things that we didn't... We had a couple people ask us if we had the troll in Shibu, so we made a few. We made maybe... You know, I don't know how many we made. To look and see how many came out. Because sometimes you can say, I made 10, but if your casting did not come out as good as you'd hoped, then you'll get as many as, you know, came out. Oh, look at this. I didn't see this here. This is something I made for Azalea. She bugged the crap out of me and I kept asking me to carve her a teeny red panda. This was a one of a kind I made for her. And I used acrylic on this. It's a polymer clay bead. But it's slightly tacky, so that's one of the things that's not great about painting polymer. So that's, I did the original in like a dark Sculpey, but now as I feel it, it feels a little bit, I don't know, I don't know, it needs, I don't know. Too bad I didn't use patina paints on it, or Ultimate paints, right? Okie dokie. Let's move some of this stuff over. Let's put it this way. Okay.
You can start anywhere.
Oh, Azalea says I can start anywhere.
Yeah, I always say that.
We do have 5 of these? You strung this recently?
Right out. Here, start with this. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, Azalea loves these. These are some really dreamy. This is Sapphire, in case you're wondering. Oh, the red panda. Thank you, Mary. That's Azalea's, that red panda. Made that for her. Okay, so is this 6 of them? This?
I can make more. I have 4 on hand, but we could make up to 6 for sure.
Yeah. So these are some nice sapphires. They're big. Let's see, where's that thing that my handy dandy. This is for knitting needles, but on one side is millimeter and the other side is for that. So let's look at the millimeter. These are 9 millimeter. 9 millimeter sapphires. And what's that lot? 11A. Oh, and I've already marked it. 32. I must have done this one.
Yeah,
we
you
had
did
a lot
before.
We did some of these, and I think I have 6 of those. Do I have 6? I think I have 6. So these are all, they're nice, heavy, beautifully drilled. Look at that hole size. These would be good for earrings. Plush, delightful earrings. Yes, yummy blueberries. Yes.
Yummy blueberries. That's what I call them too.
Yeah, that's what Azalea does call them. 32. We did have them marked, I think, at 34 for a while. Or 36. I think it was 36. But these have a nice... So, I was doing some research today. Jermaine messaged me and was like, so, I'm looking at this thing and it says that emeralds are in the beryl family. And I'd been told for my whole life that they were... And when I say my whole life, I mean my bead journey. Because these guys, these Indian guys, they were like, oh, the emerald and the ruby and the sapphire are all the same hardness. Well, they're not. So it turns out emeralds are part of beryls. I mean, I knew this, but what I did not realize is that there is green sapphire. I mean, I knew that, but that they were 2 different stones. So that's where the confusion comes in, because a lot of times any green stone will just be labeled as emerald, but they're in actuality, they're green sapphire. So green sapphire is actually worth more, unless, of course, it depends on the color, cut, and clarity. So if you have lesser quality green sapphire than an emerald, then obviously the other ones are going to be worth more. So anyway, I love these. Some of them are kind of teal. Some of them are, I think I called these cloudy. Like I called them like cloud colors.
Yeah, those are very nice cloud
I use
colors.
these, and you've seen these in my treasure necklaces. This is one of my favorites. I will throw a few of these on there, and I think it's a good segue between a section of, say, kyanite and labradorite. So I'll put those in as that transitional color. And the reason I like them is because, look at the size of that hole. Like I said, you don't see sapphires with big holes, ever, because they're hard to drill. They're a 9 on the hardness scale. So anyway, that is those cloud-colored sapphires. What is that? 11A.
11A.
Okay, I think I have one of this. Okay, these faceted, look at these. These delicious.
Show this at the same time. Let's do 2 at once again, because that works good. I like that way. This is the silver leaf.
Oh, Wendy says she loves the big
gorilla.
sapphires she got from us before. Good, I love them too. They're pricey, but, you know, as far as getting, you know, sapphires are not, they're not a cheap date. They're not cheap. And if they are cheap, then you got to be wondering, why are they cheap?
Yeah.
Why are those cheap? Because they might not be sapphire, that's why. Okay, so I have one. These are really rainbowy and delightful. $22. What does that say? $9.79? Beautiful. I know, real pretty. I might have more, so message me if you... I think I have a little bit more for in my private stash. I'd have to string them up. Oh, 900. How many are these? It's only one. I didn't even see this. Well, I was like, what's 900? It was on there. Oh, here's some Shibu from today. Our casting. Wendy, that's, you know, you don't have to buy the whole honkin' strand. You know what? That's what happened because me and my friend Diane wanted to get some strands, but your money goes farther if you can split it. because a full strand of those will set you back. They're heavy. I have two. I have two of these. What does that say? 87A.
87A.
Shibuichi is silver and copper. And you get this finish, this burgundy finish, by polishing it with heat. So you heat this up hot, then you polish the heck out of it. So that's what you get, that color. And this metal was devised in ancient Japan for use on sword hilts on a katana. What number is this one? 87A. We have two. These are Shibuichi. These are, these are really popular. This in pewter, it's popular, and when we've made it in any other metal, it's very popular because it's so cute. It came out really good. So 87A if you're interested in this Shibuichi owl. Oh, here's one in silver. Look at this lotus. I think there's only one. Is that correct, daughter?
Mm-hmm.
One of this. This one is 653. This is a sterling lotus. It has a lot of good detail. This one, I made this to go like this. This is what I thought would be really cool. Sewn onto a really beautiful piece of leather. So that, what did that say? 653. Okay, I have some of this. I don't know if you guys are going to like this, but this took me ages to do. So, and this is what's bringing me to, this is where I looked up the emerald. So I called my buddy on WhatsApp and asked him about that because I was like, so have you been telling me, what is it? So that is considered green sapphire. So this is all sapphire. I didn't realize that when they said that they were calling it emerald, but it's actually green sapphire. It comes in all these colors. This is one of the rarer colors right in here. This is that what they call padparasha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's one of my favorites, that beautiful orangey color. I have only of this size. So this was a stranded in a graduated, so I measured them out so that you'd get a little bit of each size. They range from 2 millimeter to 4 millimeter. They're pretty small, but they're really good. And I try to make it as even as possible. So this is 85A, and these are what they call a shaded sapphire strand. These are kind of small. I have another size I will get to next week. They're kind of labor intensive to string these out and make sure everybody gets the same. But the next round will be a little bit bigger for next week. How many? How many do I have total? I think I have 16 of this size in this. And also, did we make a strand? I have a couple of full strands if there's anybody interested in full strands of the sapphire. And those are going for $135. If there's any interest in the full strands, hit me up right up here and I'll let you know. Okay, so that is 85A on these sapphires. If you are watching on replay, message and send me an email and I'll let you know what we have. I don't have super deep stock. Remember that? So if they sell out, don't be mad at me because sometimes that happens. I don't know what people are going to want, so I try to get a little bit of things that I love personally. I'm not going to get it if I don't love it. You're not going to see it here if I don't like it because I use this in my jewelry, so I don't want to. I'm not going to sell anything that I don't feel strongly about. So these are some more sapphires. Oh, the orangish ones are my favorite. I love it when I get that reddish orange. They're hard to find. If they're really orangey, that padparasha, they kind of glow. And they never sell them. You will never see them in these big size. That's like unheard of. So these are sapphire nugs. These are really pretty. There are, how many of these do I have? 5. I have 5 of these. So this is a mix. You get this color, the blue, and this sort of heliotrope, which is, it's, It's yellow, but it's not 100% yellow. I don't know how to, it's kind of greenish.
The pen on that tag is not so good. Let me rewrite that real quick.
$8.97. The little kernels. They're kind of like, and they have a nice big hole. They flow.
Now show it. Should be seeing it on
you
the
can
camera.
really. Oh, Azalea said she couldn't really see it. So these are nice and heavy. Good color. Dense. These would make good earrings. And look, you could do it like this. That, or you could do mix and match. So she paired these so that they were pretty good. All right, $8.97 if you're watching on replay and you want to get yourself some. These are pretty good size sapphires. Pretty good,
Yeah,
and they're not dyed. They're natural. That's the natural color.
Juicy.
They are very, very juicy.
Okay, you can show these again one last time. These are the very last remnants.
All right, these are the
Tucson.
last ones of this. I'm
Two.
gonna. Okay, so there's 2 left. That's it, of the last of the last
They've
of the
already
last.
been marked down.
And they've been marked down. That's just a little tiny bit above cost. Okay, so this is $8.41. There are 2 of these left. These are old. What was I gonna say? Not trade beads, but these come from. Where did these come from? Murano. I got
That
them.
number again. Now you can see it good.
$8.41, $4. These are great because they call this pattern the cherry blossom. And look at that kind of neat shine. One of these would be outstanding. They're a little too heavy for an earring, but I would say that on a mala would be killer. And it kind of looks like cells on that side, like getting ready to split. Yes, Pat, that's exactly what that's called. That's called Millefiori. All right, I have one of these. This is from my private collection. This is a big old heavy tube of silver. I've had this in my collection for probably 20 some years, and I've never done anything with it. It's $52 because it's heavy, it's big, it's thick, it's handmade. They're all a little bit different. These are not machined. This is what they call from Hill Tribe. But you know what? I'm gonna mark it down a little bit so help it move. Where's that thick marker you just had? This is 918, and I'm gonna mark it down.
Here it is.
We'll do 45 on that. Okay, so that's good. That's real good. They make these and they're all a little bit different. They take the tube, they hammer it, they put the whole thing together. It's a lot of work to make that. I wouldn't make it for 40 bucks for me. Oh, we've had several requests for some of these beautiful tourmaline. Tourmaline, azalea. She strung these up. 884A, $10. Pretty good, pretty good. If you need a little bit of tourmaline, these are pretty nice. They are, let's see what the size is. Okay, looks like they're about 5 millimeter across. That's to tell me how many are left. 884A, $10. $10. Look at that. So these are rainbow tourmaline. They're not dyed. It's similar, you know. I like a lot of these fruity kind of strands, but here's the difference. Here's tourmaline, and here's sapphire. Here's a little. That's so that you can see what, you know. It's a little bit different on the hardness scale. These are pretty hard. They're a 7, but they don't have that hard sparkle. And when I say the hard sparkle, they'll hold, the harder the gemstone, the harder it will hold its facets. They're not being what you call it, tumbled down. Like a softer stone will have, over time, if you've ever had a ring, and the ring will sometimes, the stone will get kind of soft looking. So that's 84A, $10. You could see a little bit of the difference. It's a softer sparkle. These, and the color's different. So these are actually really top quality sapphires. You can see that color. 3485A. You don't want to mark that or cover it up. 84A for tourmaline. And I don't know if there's a lot left of this, but I have spent half the afternoon stringing these puppies up, splitting them strands, splitting it up. All right.
Yeah,
Oh, here. I think folks will like this. Okay, so there's some bats. There's two of these bats. Lot 88A, Shibuichi. A Shibuichi bat. Isn't that so adorable? He is the knight.
He is the knight. That's cute.
He's adorable. Silver and copper.
Gotta keep that tag visible.
Oh, sorry. You can kind of see the coloration, you know.
This is goofy, trying to compare it. Good thing I'm sitting on this side of the table. There you go.
Yeah, cute. So cute. 88A. Oh, what's this, daughter? What's this? Is this that iolite that we were talking about? What is that?
That's that looks like lapis to me.
Oh, that's a lapis strand. Oh, there's a couple of these.
Are you not gonna show this?
No, or we could. We could
Yeah,
put
do
that,
the
tuck
frog
that in
boy
and
then.
double.
He's round. He's
Okay,
full
this
love
is,
mode, you know?
so I have never made this in Shibu, but if you want one, it's heavy. That's why it's $48. What does that say? 90A. But this is the little frog. Look at its feet. It's so cute. It's a little footy, but he's kind of thick.
Perfect loaf mode.
And look at his
Feet
face.
in correctly.
And that's what it looks like.
Good looking. Chicken dinner.
That's what that looks like. And that's so cute. Love me a frog. Okay, 90A. It's $48. I know it's kind of steep, but look at all that cheddar. It's heavy. It's good. I mean, it's good. Put that on a necklace. All right. Yeah, frog feet. So cute. Have I done a hedgehog? You know what, Donna? I made a hedgehog a long time ago for the Royal Needlework Society. That was probably 22 years ago. Why I made a hedgehog. They ordered a bunch of them as for a gift. I wouldn't have done it if they didn't order a ton. But anyway, this is a Shibuichi. Look at this little frog. It's so cute. Shibuichi. I don't know if any more. I think there's only one. Yeah, there was only one of this that came out. So this one is 89A. It's $18. He's clutching the cord. 89A. A little tiny guy. Oh, and I marked this one down. I'll probably just end up setting this. $9.53. This is $24. I marked it down a couple weeks ago. There's no takers on it, but if there's one now, $9.54, $24. It's a good deal on that. I don't make this anymore. You could set, if you have the capability to solder, you could solder in some little bezel cups and make that extra. Okay, I didn't do this one yet.
I set this out for you.
Oh, here's a little snack of pink tourmaline.
I thought that was pink ruby.
Oh,
Could that be the cube formation? I thought was
could be. I'd have to look at it I'd have to look at it to see the structure, and you could tell the structure.
Know. They might want to watch you do it. They might like it.
All right,
look at it closely.
All right, where's my magnifier? So one of the ways that you can tell is you can look at it under magnification, and if you get in there tight enough, oh wait, here we go. Sometimes you can see the form. So I'm going to say, since I'm not particularly sure, I'm going to say pink tourmaline. Because just from looking at it, here's one way. I got this. Let's see if I can angle this. All right, we're going to move it down like this. Move my shiny box so we can see this. This is kind of fun. I love this little thing I got on Amazon. And I can look at things closely. Alright, so one of the ways you can do is you can look at it real close. And I'm going to get in there so I can really... Where is it? Here we go.
Dang.
Now, if you look and you see the facets, here's what you can do. If you look at the facets and the facets are kind of, they're not real sharp, that's another little telltale sign. So I'm going to look closely. Although, as I'm looking at it, let me find another piece. They seem kind of sharp, don't they? But you would look, you know, you could look at several. And also another way, if you have some to spare, you could crack them in your pliers. And depending on how they cracked, if they cracked easily, that would tell you probably tourmaline. And if it didn't crack and it fought you, then it's going to be sapphire, because sapphire is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. So that's showing me. Well, since I don't know for sure, I'm going to just say pink tourmaline, because I don't want to say, oh, it's ruby. But, and I don't want to crack one of these that we went through the effort of stringing up. So anyway, up. Dentistry. All right, so these are pink opal, and this is coming down to the last of this. I went through a phase last year where I was on pink opal. I love that ballet pink. And it's $9.80. And it's 16.
Graduated.
It's graduated. We went through there and graduated that, so everybody got a little bit of this and that variety. $16 if you want a little snack of pink opal. And you want to test that out in your designs. I think this looks beautiful with anything pale blue. Pale blue and pink opal, I think, are a delight. Look at it with this. Check it with this. I know, right? Am I right? Or, even better, did I show this already? There's not a lot of this.
No.
These, I can't hardly even take it. Oh, and I did a discount, or you did a discount on this iolite. Check this iolite out. Can you even believe that color? That's not dyed either. They called it Punjab iolite. I asked my dude, and he was like, oh, very special, very, very special. So this is, what's this say? $9.93, and it's $22. I don't know how many are left. 5 of them? Nice. I know, I love it.
I can make more of them. That's why I put them out.
That, if it doesn't sell, I'm gonna make some. I want to make a necklace. Candy was wearing a necklace. I don't know how many of y'all watch Candy Cooper. I watch her in the mornings. And she had some pretty juicy strands, some juicy, juicy ones that I was really into. Oh, here's some aquamarine. This is aquamarine. $9.46. $18. Look at that. It's good. I like it. I don't have a ton of it. I think that's the end of it. We're getting ready to get a package here soon, in a couple weeks. I'm excited. It's coming soon. There's 5 of it. All right. What does it say? $9.96. Oh, I'm kind of going out of order. That's why it's hard. Oh, and this one, you know what? I'm crazy about this. This is called Indigo Appetite. And I got all that I could. And I put some of this in kits. I think I put it in 2 kits. But look at this color. I'm going to try and get under so you can see this a little bit. I'm going to try and get that light to show it. Isn't that so pretty? They call this Indigo Appetite. Or maybe it's kind of... No, Appetite. Let me see if I can get that. I was trying to get it to where it really showed that teal. I love teal. It's probably one of my all-time favorites. But I love this with anything like garnet. This and garnet together, I think, are delicious. Or anything kind of pink. Let's see. Let's show it so you can see what I'm talking about. How it looks. So these also have a little bit of a shine to them. Kind of like...
Wendy.
They're green. They're kind of a teal. There, you could see it right there, that flash. In the sunlight, this is a halogen. Is this no, these are LED light. So it makes it where it's kind of hard to see that. Sometimes it can flatten the color out, but this is 83A, pretty nice. We graduated those out so you get a little bit of all the different sizes. Plenty to make some earrings. Plenty to make something real pretty and nice. We put this in an earring kit a few months ago and it sold really well. So here we are. Here's a little snack of this. If you want a little bit of this. It has, you know what, it's the color. If you watched Candy's thing, it's a very similar to that granditerite, but it doesn't have the granditerite price tag. So if you like that kind of, they call it indigo kyanite. It's because it has a more, if you've ever done natural dyeing, like actual indigo dyeing, it starts off a brilliant green. And once it gets in that bath, the water turns this color. As the air hits it, it turns this beautiful, rich teal. So that's why they call it that. Not to be confused with imperial kyanite, which is a whole nother can of worms, which I will show sometime. I have a little bit of that left, and I will show it. All right, what's left? What's left? Oh, there's a couple things. Oh, we had some of this. So this is natural. This is a natural stone. It's called a green onyx. It's not considered super, it's not like precious, but the coloring on this, it's not dyed. This is natural. And I wanted to show, I had a piece of some of this. I wanted to show it. I don't know where it is. But I collect, well, these are all things that I'm getting ready to cut. And I had a piece of this. And it was in like a slab. I found that in Tucson. Heliodor, that Heliodor quartz. And it was in a slab formation, like a sandwich, with this running through like a minty jelly. It was real pretty.
Did you show this already?
Yeah, I did. I think someone was asking. It's that aquamarine. This is $8.76, $12. I only have a few of these, 3 of them. These are nice. Look at that quality. Maybe you didn't need a whole bunch of them. That's a good color. Real pretty. It does glow, and it's like that in real life. It's a very pretty, glowing, they call this right there, that chatoyance schiller. Love it. And what a good price. Very nice. I've had this in my collection. Oh, here's one of labradorite. I got this pretty nice quality, but not as good as the one I had a few weeks ago. That was extra good quality. All right, I think, oh no, I have a couple more things. 2 or 3 things left. There's 2 of this. This is that, I've had this, I bought a lot of this. A lot of it. I was a little bit thunderstruck with delight. This is called strawberry quartz. It's green strawberry quartz. It's a similar matrix, and if I got my thing out, let me see if I can show this because it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can show that. It's kind of like my dentistry. Okay. Let's see what happens with this. Maybe it'll be easier to show it on there. Maybe it'll be easier to show those flecks. Yeah, and you can kind of see them. You see those little rainbow flecks? I'm trying to get it in focus. I'm moving it across the surface. Come on, sit still, you. Well, anyway, there are these little bitty flecks of color. And those are like glitter. So when you see them in real life, there's some. They're not, it's not dyed. That's how it is on the inside of the stone. It's green. See the little flecks? That's what makes up the color. Green, teeny green flecks.
Wow.
Beautiful. So we marked that at 18. We had these a couple weeks ago. We didn't sell them all. 823. We have 2 left. If there's no takers, I'm going to just put those right directly in my collection and keep them because they have that kind of shine too. You know, that shine, that chatoyance. 823. Yeah, and how often do you see flower carve? That's one of the things too, because these look really good when you have, remember when I was talking about, I don't know if you saw this, but when I was talking about variation in texture, when you mix and match things that are of maybe a monochromatic colorway and you have the textures are different, that's another way to bring a lot of interest to your work. Like this looks particularly good with, say, something that's matte. You're changing it up. You're making it kind of fresh by alternating the textures, and it'll make your work that much more special. Oh, okay. So the last thing. This is the last
of the Shibu, but we can show these.
Oh, and I want to show my necklaces before, because I'm going to put them out into, it's almost show season. Almost. So I got 2 of these guys. They're $36. It's 86A. Check this out. The salamander.
Shibu salamander.
Shibu. If nobody gets that, I'm going to put them directly into my pocket.
He's handsome.
Don't doubt it. I'll carry him with me.
Here's this one's handsome. This one's like a lizard.
Yeah, if nobody wants it, 86A. Look at how cute. The Shibu Ichi. Silver and copper. This could probably get run over by a truck and be good. So the way this strings is right through his tail. He could be a sculpture. That's how I designed that. So it could be a sculpture. It could be in your pocket too. Or it looks good on a necklace. Oh, good. You saw a live one? I would have passed out. You know how I love salamanders. Lizards kind of make my skin crawl, but not... I think they move too fast. Anything that moves too fast gives me the creepy crawlies. But if they're kind of slow and soft, then that's different. All right, let me see. Is there anything else in there in that box?
That's the last of this, except for your necklaces. If you want to show them.
Let's see. Let's see. We have some necklaces. So I showed these before, but I'm going to get ready to put these out at the shows coming up. And I'm going to get started making more necklaces, but I thought I'd show these one last time if you've been looking. And I think I even marked them down. So that's one good thing. I marked it $10 down. So this one was at $180. And this is B3 if you're interested. It's $170. It has a sterling clasp. Both sides are sterling. Little sterling beads in there. And this is what I was talking about with my treasure necklaces. So when you have a variation in color and texture, like I have some faceted, that's a faceted ruby. Natural, not dyed. And that's some rhodochrosite. That 23 stone, you know, the one that's made with all the different stones. Check that out. Yeah. It's so delightful. Oh, see, there's some more. This is antique flower cut quartz. Isn't that pretty? And then very good quality labradorite. That's AAA grade. And there's a little black opal. Black opal with rainbow sparkles. Pearl. And that's called golden obsidian. Faceted. You rarely see that. Garnet, carnelian, amber, serpentine, jade. What are you doing to that cat?
Squeezing him a little bit.
Apatite, turquoise. It runs the gamut. There's all different kinds. Oh, there's some spectralite in there. So that's what's on this. I didn't name all of them. Aventurine, more black opal, lapis. Yeah, we do. I don't know that we have mountain lions. People have said that they've seen them. Oh, and this is what, you know what this is? This is these are antique. That's called Dutch opalescence. And you know what's funny is that glass bead's probably more expensive than like all these, because you can't get these. You have to buy the whole strand, and those strands are like $500.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you've gone to the African village, for some reason they love that Dutch opalescence. It's just because it's rare, you know.
Did you show the tag?
Oh, yes, I did. So, yeah, it's like gem show treasure necklace. It is. There's tons of gems. So this is B3. If you're watching, you can email me and ask me later. All right. So, yeah, and I marked that at 170. Here's another. Well, there's a couple more. But then I'm going to put them out at when we go to the show.
This is
in a month
probably
or
the
so.
last chance because they're not on the website either.
No, I might put them on the website. We'll see. We might. Because sometimes I sell them. You never know what's going to sell. And that's a good thing. If you're making jewelry and you're not moving it, remember, try different avenues because, you know, it might not be the same people watching. You know what I mean? You never know who might be watching. Some people don't even make jewelry and they might want it. So keep it open. This one is, I marked this one to 150 and it's B10. This one has a sterling octopus clasp and also another delightful parade of gemstones going all the way down. And this is hand knotted on 2 strands of nylon. And this is about the average price that I put them at. So they're around usually between 120 and 250 depending on what's on it. If there's a lot of sapphires, then it's going to be more, obviously. It's just more money. All right. And then the last one, this one's one of my favorites. The Galaxy necklace. I don't know if anyone's going to want this. I might send it to my friend. She likes a Galaxy and I know she's been eyeballing it. But we'll see. This one says, what does it say, daughter?
A3.
A3. This has a bead that our friend made. And I love it. They're all kind of one of a kind, you know? Well, they are one of a kind. But, and now, of course, now that I'm looking at it, I can see her face and I can see her business name and I cannot remember it right off the top. I'm going to remember it later. Don't you hate that when that happens?
Who?
My friend made this. It's not one of my, I'm going to have to remember it here. And then quartz and labradorite.
Is she the one that sometimes watches us?
Sometimes she does. I'm going to think. This is A3 170. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Oh, thank you. I'll send you the name of the artist that made this bead. I love it. She did the show. It's gonna bug me. She does engraving. Y'all know.
All right.
Out of Pennsylvania.
The last part of the show, you guys.
All right, spread it
out. Thank you so much. So we're doing, instead of the notebook, I have a Google Doc, and I'm going to share my screen with y'all, and you'll see it. So
I want to see this. What? Let me see what y'all talking about. Somebody saw something. I've been too busy staring at my own necklaces. A 3-foot bag. Oh.
Here is the list. If you want, Mom, if you want to make it where they're only seeing the list, you can turn off your camera for a minute. Oh, I guess it's not going to let you do that. It'll just have a blank space. All right, you guys, look at this list. It's like the Notebook and the Days of Old, except it's in Google Doc form. So I'm going to scroll kind of slowly and you guys can take a look. Let us know if you can see it good.
Yeah, maybe you can make it bigger if you need to.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to make it bigger myself.
Yeah, I don't know how to make it bigger either.
Maybe I can go up here and do this.
Oh, if there was a snake in the house, I would have screamed and never stopped. Sometimes when they move fast, it makes me feel the heebie-jeebies. We're moving up in the world. We've got a Google Doc with things on it.
I know, instead of the book.
Yeah, well, you know, some folks were like, we can't read your handwriting, Azalea.
I know, it's because I have to scribble it so fast. But here you go. And go up again.
All right, let's flip it.
All right.
Okay, little daughter.
Very nice.
Oh.
Good job, Mom. Good job.
We did it.
There's a cat here. I'm waking him up.
What are you talking about, Laura? Her dad let her pet what? What is this?
A snake.
Oh, there was a snake in the house. Sometimes people keep them as pets. I know, weird. They don't seem like they're that loving. Not like loving like this. He's not. Although I did see a hognose snake that was the color of strawberry milk, and it was pretty cute.
I just woke him up. He was sleeping in my chair. That's why he looks mad.
Well, he's not mad. He's just relaxed. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on our Magic Hour Sunday night edition. And we hope you join us next week. We will have something fun planned. And we're going to get everything packaged up. So if you've never done our live sale, what usually happens is Azalea will make up the invoices,
I think people know how it works
and
right
then
now.
we will send them out after a day or so. So check your inbox and your spam folder. Check that spam folder because sometimes it goes straight to the spam. All right. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and that you get to do something fun and creative. And don't forget to stretch. Drink some water. All right, friends. We love you out there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Goodbye.